The opinion polls may be close and the politicians may be campaigning frantically, but as far as the betting markets are concerned, the result of the Scottish referendum is clear. No is going to win. With me to discuss which way the punters have been voting is James Midmer of Betfair. James, where does this rank in the pantheon of political betting events?
Yeah, so it's on track to be one of our biggest ever. The UK general election of 2010 was pretty big. The US election in 2012 was around 30 million, and we've got about 8.5 million matched in the Scottish referendum market. You tend to find that liquidity accelerates close to the event itself as well.
And any clear preferences at this point?
Yeah, so the money so far has been overwhelmingly in favour of no. We've seen about probably 85% of the total volume match being on no, and several of the biggest individual trades have all been on that outcome. We have seen it move slightly around recent opinion polls, but nowhere near as much as the polls themselves.
Well, I was going to ask you about that because on September the 7th, I think it was, a YouGov poll came out that put yes very slightly in the lead at 51 to 49, and cue a flurry of panic among the politicians and a race to get up to Scotland to campaign. Did that have any major impact on the way that people place their bets?
Yeah, it did have a slight impact. So no, prior to that point, had been trading as a solid about 80% chance when you imply from the odds. That kind of brought it into about 67%, but it was still 67-33. I'd say now you're looking at probably about 78% no, so it's a lot more, it's a lot more polarised than the opinion polls.
Yeah, so the betting markets are pretty clear. They are very, very different from the polls, and they're saying it's going to be no.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we tend to find when people are betting their own money, they tend to make a very hard-headed, rational decision, whereas opinion polls are often people who are caught up in the moment. They often are asked the question who they want to win, who they will be supporting, and they're not asked the question who do you think will win. And we saw that in the US election as well. Some of the opinion polls were pointed to Romney even as a clear favourite, and the market never deviated away from Obama. Political bettors were proved right in the end.
Okay, so give us some of the headline bets. Who are the high rollers out there?
Yeah, so 75% of the significant trades, so we'd class that as over £2,000, have gone on no. Right. In particular on Sunday, we saw an individual bet of £55,000 on no, and that followed two bets of around the £20,000 region last week. So the biggest trade on yes is about £5,000, so it sort of gives you an idea that the bigger money, much of it from south of the border, interestingly, is coming for no.
So you've got to be, but that's because you've got to put a lot of money on no at those odds in order to get any kind
exactly.
of return.
So the person betting 55,000 would potentially be standing to win about 15,000. So you would have to put quite a significant amount on to move the market or to benefit significantly at this stage.
So with all that in mind, is there any point in having a quick flutter on a yes win?
Well, you have, as I was saying earlier, you have the 78% to 22% chance. I mean, I guess some of our respective sporting teams, you would be happy to put a bet. I'd be happy to see my own cricket team bet trading at 22%. So yeah, I mean, if you were that way inclined, you could. I think the markets tend to be fairly accurate, so I would be putting my own money on no.
But is that where the smaller bets are going? Then you pop in for a quick tenner and say, I think yes are going to do it.
Yeah, so I mean, we're seeing a lot of smaller individual bets, particularly from Scotland itself, coming on yes. But yeah, I think at the moment you would have to put a significant amount on no to profit significantly.
James Midmer from Betfair, thank you very much.
Thank you.
For all the latest news and analysis on the Scottish referendum, please visit ft.com/Scotland.